The project on the Jeep is coming along. This is the 02 TJ, and this is the 03 donor vehicle. As you can see, it was in an accident. The frame off the 03 is in great shape. It looks really good. Body on the 02 definitely has some work that needs to be done. The torque box here is a little bit rotten. Up here in the tub, a little bit of rust, not that bad. Rocker panel, we got some rot there. Get the frame out of the way. I think today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to take the fender off on the driver's side. So as you can see, I've got the grille and the passenger fender off. I want to get in here and do some body work and make this nice and even. And what we'll end up doing is we'll end up actually spraying the entire vehicle with Raptor liner. So stay tuned for that. I think we're a couple episodes away from that though. So today I'll show you guys how to take a fender off of a TJ 2002. It does look like this one was replaced before. If you see, you can tell the color difference. So we'll find out more when we get in to get it off. All right, we're gonna take the washer fluid reservoir off. As you can see, these nuts are pretty rusty, so we're gonna hit them with some PB Blaster just to make sure that, well, not make sure that it'll come out, but it'll help us in the end to get it out. Oh, it appears this one's already missing, so just one to do on the washer jug. Same thing over here on the evap system. Which appears to be the charcoal canister here for the fuel system. Just give every bolt that you can a good shot with PB Blaster. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to help your odds of getting these bolts out. Okay, before you unbolt the whole assembly, make sure you take off this plug here, which I'll show you where it's located, right here, and then this one right here. This one here you just pop up and pull out, and this one here, there's a button right here. You just push it, sorry, and it comes out. So right there, you just push down on that right there. Okay, evap system's out. So you've got one screw, or one bolt I should say, right here. 2, 3, and then over here you've got the 4th one and the 5th one. I'm using a 1-liter container that you can buy at any grocery store. These things are super cheap. Labeling it with the driver's side fender, so I know that all these bolts that are in here have to go back on the driver's side fender. I mentioned before, this thing's an aftermarket fender. So you can see there's a hole there, but they did not drill a hole there. And here, same thing. So that would explain why when in the earlier part of the video, I mentioned that they were already undone. It wasn't that they were undone, it's that this aftermarket fender did not have the holes drilled for it. It only had one, and whoever installed it is okay. I've gone ahead and taken the horn off, washer jug, evap system, freed up the harnesses. Okay, so in here, pop that plug out, pop that little grommet there that's holding the loom in. I left this main plug connected because I've already pulled the whole harness when I did this. When I took the front end off, this harness here goes all the way to the passenger side, and this is for the headlights. So this whole loom, I'm just gonna drape over and bring it up on top of the Jeep just to get out of my way. It should leave me enough room to get this fender off, no problem, and also still be able to do some work inside here. There's a harness down in there. Got that off. Just simply unclipped it And now it's time to start getting at the bolts. As you can see down in here, there's a couple bolts. There's a bolt right there. There's 2, that's 3, and there's 4 down here. On this side of things, you've got 4 bolts in these holes here, okay? And they attach the fender to this bracket here. So I'm gonna free up this bracket, get this out of the way, and that should give us easy access into these bolts here for removal of the fender off the firewall. Okay, I've taken off what appears to be, could be like a secondary battery box if you wanted. Not 100% sure what else it holds down, but it is used as a structure point in between the firewall and the inner fender. So to take this off, you've got 1 bolt or 1 nut right here. Then you have another nut inside there. Then you have a bolt here, and you have 2 bolts here. And that should free this up to get this out for you to get into those fender bolts. Another method you could take, now since I'm doing this because I'm taking the fender and everything off and cleaning the whole firewall off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 4 bolts there. You could take that off, and that should gain you access down into here for these bolts. All right, that one's giving me a hard time. Turns out, after looking this over, I am able to get in here, and I've gotten that first one and that second fender bolt undone. We just got to get down in there to get the 3rd and the 4th one, which is kind of hard to see. But you're going to want to get this from the bottom. They are not accessible. There they are. They're not accessible from the top. If I was able to get this off, they would be. So I'm going to be lifting the car up and going at it from the bottom. Here's a shot from the bottom. A lot easier to see now. Got that one there and that one there. There is a fair bit of room here. If you don't have a hoist, it would definitely be easier to move this and get this out of the way. But as you can see, I got an issue here with this bolt, or this nut, just spinning. I'm gonna have to figure out how to either tack that or get a pair of vice grips on it. All right, I tightened this last bolt up in here on the top. I put it back in a couple threads, got in from underneath, undid the rest of the bolts. Something I did find interesting though is since I had undone these bolt holes here for that bracket, I was actually able to slide the extension in through here, and that was allowed me to get access to the bolts underneath here, the bottom 1 and 2. So that's a little trick that I found there, so you guys may be able to use that. All right, I'm just gonna loosen this off and pop the fender out. All right, so there goes that bracket, and here's the fender. I think I'm gonna replace these fenders with some brand new ones. Since I'm already painting the vehicle, take a look at the price. Probably for 150 bucks each, I can just replace these instead of having spending all that time cleaning all that rust off, prepping them, and getting them ready for paint. Here's the battery tray, or support, driver side fender support. You can see that right here, this is where I had that thing spinning on me, and I was not able to get that bolt out. So I'll have to take that to the table, probably put a nut on it, weld it, and clean it up and reuse that. That's it for this video. As you can see, obviously the fender's off. Appreciate you guys tuning in. That was the actually the first video I've made in the series of videos for this Jeep. 2002 Wrangler TJ. So I hope you guys subscribe down here, and see you next time.